Oh shoot, package from Custom Offsets. What could this possibly be?
Alright y'all, so with my old truck, I worked on my truck in the garage as much as possible. So like if I ever needed to replace something, I would just bring it in the garage and I would try to like do it myself. But the problem with my Duramax is that it won't fit in my garage.
And I'm planning on cranking up the torsion bar another inch. So I don't know, I mean, it definitely won't affect it that much, but it still won't fit in the garage. So like whenever I have to replace the rear brakes, I would have to probably do it in the driveway or take it to a shop because I can't fit it in the garage. And I might be able to do it like this where it's like halfway in, but I don't really know how safe that would be because as you can see, it's not flat. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'll just figure it out when the time comes. Alright, so this is the package. And when you see it, it says Custom Offsets. So you would think it'd be the wheel spacers that I ordered almost 2 weeks ago. No, the package is way too small to be wheel spacers. So honestly, I was really confused when I ordered these. And once I opened the box, I figured out it was the Custom Offsets decal. I've always wanted a Custom Offsets decal because I always thought their decal looked really cool, and I actually was actually gonna plan on buying a decal from them. But this time, I'm not really sure if I want to put it on my truck. And the reason being is that my truck, this Duramax, is technically a dealer options build. Everything that's been done to this truck, the lift, and like getting the tires mounted, and just a lot of stuff was done by dealer options. So I don't know how I feel about putting a Custom Offsets decal on there and kind of like advertising for Custom Offsets, because essentially, I mean, Custom Offsets is a shop in Wisconsin, so they do builds. If you follow them on YouTube, you know, they do vehicle spotlights, and they do they show how they install lift kits. And I mean, I've learned a lot from Custom Offsets over the years, and you know, that's the reason why I'm ordering more wheel spacers, because I learned about hub-centric wheel spacers from watching Custom Offsets YouTube video. So I mean, I was influenced by Custom Offsets, therefore I've always wanted to put a Custom Offsets decal, but my Duramax is not a Custom Offsets build, and I don't want to sponsor, you know, Custom Offsets when dealer options did all the build to this truck. So I'm kind of still debating on whether if I want to put a decal on this. So I think you guys should, you know, leave a comment below. Should I put a decal? Should I put Custom Offsets decal on my Duramax, or you know, should I put a maybe dealer options decal? Dealer options doesn't have a decal right now, but potentially they could come up with one in the future. And if they do, I would love to put a dealer options one because they did the build for my truck. However, I still kind of want to put a Custom Offsets one because I mean, I love Custom Offsets, and I think their decals look good, and I freaking love decals. I'm trying to keep it minimum because I don't want to put too many and be that guy that has just stickers and decals on the back of the window. And I think the current setup right now is good enough, I will get rid of the GMC fam decal because it is like crooked and I hate it. I'm thinking about ordering another one and putting it right below the Punisher. So the GMC fam would be right under the Punisher. And speaking of GMC fam, check this out, y'all. A Duramax keychain, but it's also a bottle opener. Pretty cool. It's only 20 bucks, and if you want to get one, go check them out at on their Instagram, and you can just DM the website, or you can just DM the page and you can order one. 20 bucks. It's pretty cool. It's pretty solid too, and I freaking love it. I've used it a few times. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, should I get a Duramax? Should I get a diesel truck? Because I'm trying to get something that gets better gas mileage. And a lot of people ask me, do you get better gas mileage with your Duramax? Is that the reason why you got it? And for me, I mean, that's not the reason why I got it, but I can definitely tell that, you know, diesel trucks do get better gas mileage, especially if you like mess with the engine, get it tuned, get it deleted, and because there's so much more you can do with diesel engine. Whereas you're so limited to, you know, you can only do so much with gas engine. So I feel like I could provide a pretty good comparison between gas truck and a diesel truck, because my 1500 and my Duramax right now is the exact same truck, just one is 1500 and gas truck and one is a 2500 diesel truck. So they're the exact same body style, so I think I can provide a pretty good comparison. So let's start with my first truck. My first truck, I was averaging about 16 to 17 when I first got that truck, and it was bone stock. And for some reason, I bought that truck from my uncle when I was 19. But my uncle, the way he drove, I guess he was heavy on the foot, he would get about 15, 14. But when I first got that truck, I was working like almost a minimum wage job, and I hated, and the gas was about the gas was about $3 per gallon or something, almost a little over 3, I think. So to put the gas, it was I had to put about $40 a week, and you know, working, you know, getting paid like $7.35, and having to pay like insurance and car payment, and having to spend a lot for gas. I was actually like really easy on the gas. I would take off really slow. I would coast I would coast a lot if I can. So I was getting like, and I took the interstate to school a lot. So I was averaging about 16.5, about 16.5, and then I put 33's, Cooper Discoverer ATP 33's, and that brought it down to about 15. And then, when I put the 33's, I had to put a leveling kit, the 3-inch leveling kit from Rough Country. I would not recommend it, because when it came time to put a lift kit on it, I had to replace the CV axles, upper control arms, lower control arms, everything, because everything was just busted. So the front end geometry was terrible for that. I wouldn't recommend it. So with that being said, once I lifted it to once I got the 6-inch Rough Country lift, I kept my Cooper 33's for about a month. And looking back, it looks so goofy. I think I didn't want to drop like $3 all at once. I kind of wanted to like wait up to drop another, $1,300 for tires. You know, because I had just dropped, $2,000. Almost, no, I dropped like $3,000 for the lift, I think, at the time, because I had to replace a bunch of stuff. I even had to replace the torsion bars. So I had to drop $3,000 on a Rough Country lift, and all at once, and I just didn't want to drop another, $1,300 for the tires. So I kind of waited a month. So I had 6-inch lift, and I was running 33's. That setup, I was getting about 15. I was still getting about 15, like 14.5, and then eventually I got 35's, and with that setup, I was getting about 14, and if I was lucky, I was getting about 15. And I was surprised because it didn't, the mileage didn't decrease like I was expecting. I thought it was going to decrease a lot more, but BFG BFG KO2s being all-terrains, it didn't really affect the mileage that much. And then I traded that setup for 20x10 fuel coupler, which came with Toyo MTs, and that dropped my MPG to like 13 and a half. So now let's talk about my Duramax MPG. So when I first sold my truck and I got this Duramax, before I got the Duramax, I was actually driving my uncle's truck, 2014 Sierra. It's right there. And for some reason, I wasn't very impressed with that truck. The gas mileage it was actually worse than my old truck, I think, because I couldn't get over 16 to save my life, and I was driving really carefully. So that truck I was averaging 15, and everything was stock. It was running like 33 all-terrain tires, and they weren't even really all-terrain tires, or just called all-terrain tires, but they were just basically highway tires. So 15 with that setup, and then I got my Duramax, and from the start, my Duramax, when it was completely stock, I was averaging about 17. And I was driving in the city, and I was really impressed with getting like 17 because I was like stepping on the gas because it was my first diesel truck, and I was really excited. And the amount of torque diesel trucks have, it's incredible. And like the turbo was, I've never had a diesel truck before, and the turbo sound was so addicting. And at the time, you could barely hear the turbo, but that's why I was stepping on it even more, just so I could hear the turbo. And even then, I was still averaging 17. And then the next setup was I cranked up the torsion bars and I stuffed the 35s and 20x12 underneath. And so stock, I was averaging about 17. Going to school, I took the interstate, so I would average about 18 to 19 overall. And then when I stuffed the 35s and 12 and a half wheels, that decreased it to about, I would say about 15 to 14. I would say about 15 to 15. And then sometimes I would get 16 if I'm on the interstate. But if you get wider wheels and wider tires, it really does affect your gas mileage because that's more like ground that it covers. So it did affect my MPG, but not that badly. And then I put the 7-inch McGaughy's lift, and then 7-inch McGaughy's lift with the 35s. It dropped the MPGs down to I would say about 14. So I was averaging about 14, 13.5. And if I wasn't driving a lot, if I wasn't taking the interstate a lot, I was averaging about 13.5. Finally, my 37's. I've been driving with my 37's for about 2 weeks now. Which, by the way, I still have to get them balanced because something's wrong with the tires, or they're not just able to balance them. I took them to Discount Tires. They said they balanced the back, but it's still like shaking, so I'm gonna take it up there and have them try to rebalance balance the front. But with my 37's, so far I've been averaging, right now odometer, or right now the dash is saying about 11. And 11, if I'm lucky, I get about 12. So 37's, I mean, if I'm really lucky, I would get up to like 12.5, maybe 13. But 37's are so big and heavy, that's what she said, that it does decrease the gas mileage tremendously. And this is honestly the reason why I waited till I put the wheels and lift and all that to do the engine mod, because now I know where I'm standing with the MPG and like the horsepower and the performance wise. So that way, now I can delete my truck and I can add cold air intake. I can change the inlet to the LBZ inlet and tune it. That right there is going to show you guys how much MPG I'll get with my truck and how much power I'll be getting with my truck with 37's. And with that being said, I am almost done with the exterior. After the wheel spacers, I do want to do a little bit of I do want to put the light bars in that little slot, and I do want to get some color shift halo headlights, but I'm still kind of waiting on it. I just don't like doing everything all at once. So after that, I would like to start working on the engine, and then after the engine, I'm gonna get amp research steps. So I know those running boards are freaking ugly. I hate them too, but I don't really need steps. Like, I can deal with those steps. I want to increase my MPG, my horsepower, and I want to make my engine more durable. EGR is so bad for your engine, and I do want to just delete it as soon as possible, and I do want to tune the truck so it performs better. And the reason why I got a Duramax is so I could, so I can like tune the truck and mess with it more. And a lot of people have said, you don't even tow very much, or you don't even use your truck for, truck stuff. Well, like, not everybody buys a truck, because they work in construction or whatever. I do use my truck for my needs, and I do pull a trailer every once in a while. And when I do pull the trailer, my truck is capable of handling it no problem. Unlike my last truck, it almost crapped on me taking it to North Carolina. So, I mean, that is my reason. And I think, to me, that's kind of the same thing as buying a Mustang or like a sports car and having like 800 horsepower on a daily driven Mustang. Like, you really don't need that on your Mustang, but people do it. So it's kind of the same thing with me with my truck. But I feel like I do use my truck for my needs. I do haul a good bit, and I do carry a lot of stuff. And my friends always, like, whenever my friends need help with like hauling stuff, or like whenever they like buy furniture or something, I love helping them out. So I like having a truck. I forgot to mention, with the exterior upgrades, I am going to put the new style tow mirrors on this truck, just like my old truck. They have the reverse lights, but I was not able to figure out how to hook up the reverse lights on my old truck. But I definitely want to figure that out on this truck. I feel like my truck came a long way since I first got it in January. With my first truck, it took me almost 2 years just to put a cheap rough country lift and 35-inch tires. But with this truck, it took me 5 months to get a really good lift kit. I mean, it's no Cognito, but McGaughy is a pretty reliable lift kit company, and I have 37-inch tires and the wheels that I like. A lot of people say they're Moto Metals and give me crap for them, but honestly really like the way they look. Check out where I got featured. Moto Metal. If you scroll down, there's my truck. Yeah, not too bad. There's a reason why so many people have them, because first of all, I mean, they are affordable and they look great, they look clean. I don't like anything like really flashy. Eventually I may get XT grenades, or I may get some, I don't know, American Forces maybe, but I don't like chrome wheels, so powder coated black American Force wheels and chrome spike lug nuts. But I'm not really sure. That's gonna be in the future. Well, that'll be after I'm done with all the mods, and whenever I'm bored, that'll be like maybe like upgrades in the future, maybe like a year from now. So just keep in mind, the build is not done. The build, I mean, it's not even halfway done with this build, because there's so much I can do to this truck, and there's so much I can change. So I'm really proud of how much I've done to this truck in the past 4 or 5 months. I can't wait to see how much this truck will change in the next year or two. So stick around, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and please go check out my old videos. I created a playlist so you can watch this build from when it was brand spanking new. Not spanking new, but when it was just completely stock till now. you can see like how it progressed, how like the first mod I did was I demolded the side and I got rid of the running boards and all that stuff. It's kind of funny because I put the running boards back on. But anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ugh.